Hey guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Made in Abyss Season 2, Episode 5. So, last time we had some crazy stuff. We had the idea that Reg was called Reg before meeting Rico and being named Reg. I was reminded in the comments, thank you very much by the way, that Rico named Reg after a dog she once had. So I guess I hope it's not this either, but I guess technically it could be something where Liza named Reg after a dog she once had, and Rico had that same dog, so they both knew the name, and it's just a coincidence, you know? But I hope there's something crazier going on in terms of that, but I guess we'll find out eventually. But um uh what's her name? Do we have a name yet? Faputa. Yes, we do. Has like considered Reg as her goal. My goal has appeared, which is interesting, and there is a lot of talk going on in this Village of the Hollows about, goals and stuff like that. Like there was that I think it was it like a narrator kind of speaking about like when Nanachi found Miti again, and saying like when one reaches their goal, there isn't anything left for them to reach for, or something along those lines. I know that's not word for word how it said it, but yeah, I don't know, just a lot of interested in stuff like that. But yeah, and we have confirmation on Belaf and Wazukyan, the two of them, and then we saw a brief image of Vueho, if I'm saying that right, who seems to be maybe controlling the balancing, is my assumption. But yeah, without further ado, guys, there's so much crap happening. I just want to see if we get any answers, or if we're just going to have more questions. So let's start the episode. Alright, we're going to start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Oh, so cool, Belaf. You look like a badass. How? How is Miti there? Whoa. It was her that was, like, thinking it, I guess. Okay. Yeah. Journey's End. Interesting. Huh. That's right. There's so many little, like, almost narration kind of things for the audience this season. Like, we had that one moment where Reg, I'm pretty sure it was Reg's voice, was saying, like, oh, hey, yeah, we didn't know yet that you couldn't leave without or with your humanity. It's like, shit. I wonder if we're going to get to see more of their journey. And how they became the way they are. Let's see what goes on, what like happened with Wazukyan and his group. Because there's a lot of little cute moments of them being like happy before everything happened. I wonder if we're going to get to see some of those. To be fair, this show doesn't like to give us happy moments unless there's going to be terrible moments shortly after, so I feel like anyway. Hmm. Oh. So he's lost. He's trying to find his way back to the village. Oh shit! It's so quiet! Huh. For some reason, it really wants Reg. Damn. That thing's... Wow. It chipped it. Wow. Huh. Well. Oh. Another arm like his. From one of these guys. What does he have on his head? Hmm. Oh. Hmm. Interference units. Hmm. Ah. Interesting. Damn. Wazukan. You can still hear. Can definitely tell that voice is still there. Hmm. Seems cheery. Interesting. What does the sun smell like? Is that a hollow being used as like a paper towel? Ooh. Huh. Just some combinations. Cradle and Mother. Interesting. We've heard that a bunch. Alright. Learning the language is cool. Nice of the lady to teach. I wonder who this was. I mean, I guess most of the characters we really had named. Uh... Is this a good idea? I don't think they're here, but... So, is Rico about to find Vuejo? Is this where Vuejo lies? Okay. Smart of her to check. It's like the sorting goop, or the balancing goop. Yeah, hollows go down there, they feel beaten down, right? Is that what's happening to Ma? Yep. Should be an interesting encounter. She looks tired. Hmm. It's like a collar. Voiko. I typed the name wrong. My bad, guys. I'll go back and get her full name. I'm gonna pay attention to this instead of writing it down. Does she know Reg? A signal. Hmm. Interesting. Whoa. Shit. Well. Children. Oh. Interesting. Freed her. Uh-oh. Damn. Yeah. Being stuck down here for how long? Yeah. Let's get her some clothes. The luring? Well, that sounds ominous. Oop. Okay. Now, Rico never got to see Meaty except for in her weird dream thing. So Rico might not even know this connection that Nanachi has with Meaty. Is she just asleep, or is it worse than that? Tears. Oh. Belas tears. What? What? Hmm. Ugh. Ugh. Through the eyes. Damn. So Balaf is freaking eating Meaty, who constantly regenerates, so it's an endless food source? I made a joke about that earlier. I hate that. I'm mad at myself now. Huh. Yep. Of course. Yeah, then how did he get her? What? What? Jesus. Can't do that. I will just take your head. Yeah. Hair isn't gonna be that easy. Shit. Jesus. Nope. Let's nope. Let's sell Meaty back. No. I feel bad for Meaty, but damn, I don't know how we deal with this. I wonder. Interesting. I just had a theory. Ooh. Sorry, I wanna get this down. Because knowing me, I'm gonna start ranting and I'm either gonna forget to tell you guys or I'm just gonna forget because my memory is terrible. Oh man. That was a great episode. Like, I almost feel like I didn't talk enough. I was just enveloped in the story, to be honest. I'm just intrigued, trying to wrap my head around a lot of the different mechanics of this world, you know, because so much of it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, because the idea that Balaf was able to sacrifice a large portion of his body in order to somehow clone Meaty, soul and all, like, how is that possible, you know? That's crazy. But okay. So that is the end, guys, of episode 5. Okay. My little epiphany I had was, you know how in, like, what was it, episode, like, 2? Or maybe it was at the end of 1? Either way, we had them reach the village, and we had that moment of Reg saying that we learned that we were unable to leave this place while keeping our humanity. Now, what if that is a way to make us think it means that they are gonna, like, they could lose their humanity as in becoming hollows if they leave this place? What if that's not the case? What if by loss of humanity they mean that they have to do something bad, you know? Like, they had a pretty, not lengthy, but decent discussion this episode about whether, like, Vueko is a bad person or not, you know? What if the idea is that, in order to get Nanaji back, Riko has to do something, like, really bad, and in a way, it can be seen as a loss of her humanity. Now, I'm not 100% sold on that theory. I was just thinking, like, I feel like there's gotta be some way that Riko gets out of this without losing her humanity, but I wasn't sure how that would be, since Reg said that you can't leave without losing your humanity. So either we had an unreliable narrator tell us something earlier from, like, an omnipotent perspective, which doesn't seem fair to the viewer, but now, like, thinking about that possible idea of it, of, like, it's a play on words to make you think one thing, but it's another thing, kind of thing, you know? I wonder if it could be something in that realm, where instead of loss of humanity meaning the curse affecting Riko, it really just means, you know, doing some bad shit, you know? I don't know. But damn, what a crazy episode. Again, like, I feel like I'm not reacting well to a lot of this stuff because I'm just intrigued by watching it and thinking about what all of this means, you know? So, first off, in the beginning, we had some ominous messages from this interference unit, is what they're called. And he said that he is unable to stop Faputa or the village. Now, what does that mean? What does he mean, stop the village? Are they doing something bad, you know? Obviously, we have Vueko who said that the village was founded on, you know, some bad shit that they did. But, and he mentioned these interference units are placed on each layer, but some of them have gone missing or have been taken. So does that mean that, like, the interference units that were on the higher layers were maybe scalped by, like, the Sovereign of Dawn, or anyone else that might have, like, grabbed them and were like, hey, this is a relic of the Abyss, and just, like, fucked with it, you know? Like humans do. But as we're getting farther down, it's less common for people who have come down here, so it's less common for the interference units to have been taken, you know? It's really interesting. And who created these interference units? Is it, like, were they originally made in, like, the old, whatever old civilization was around that made all these other relics of the Abyss, you know? And they're just still up and kicking this whole time? Or what? Are they made by someone that still exists deep below, and they're just trying to monitor and maybe those things are like sending data back and stuff like that, and they're just trying to monitor everything that's going on in the abyss, kind of thing. Um, I don't know. It's super fascinating, and apparently, uh, Reg is a interference unit, but he's kind of a special one. It seems like this guy has a little bit of sentience, but not enough sentience to have free will, if that makes sense. Like, he's able to talk to you and respond to your questions, and I don't know that he has his own desires, but he's programmed enough to give like recommendations of being like, hey, you gotta leave fast because I can't stop what they're doing, Um, so I'm just like really, really curious because that seems a little bit more than just like programming. Like programming, I feel like would only be like limited responses, but he seemed to have like a little bit more there. At least that's the way I felt listening to him. But he's not at the level of Reg where Reg is able to go anywhere, and that's what they were just saying. That's what he was just saying is he was like, you who can go anywhere maybe can find that missing data. And it seemed like he had a longing for that missing data, where he said like I wasn't privileged to the data of our creator kind of thing, but he said maybe you who can go anywhere can go find it. And I feel like he wouldn't have bothered to say that if he didn't have some sort of longing himself for that. But yeah, fascinating. I absolutely love this season so far, to be honest. Like, I'm glad. I know we're gonna get into the messed up stuff, and I know first episode we already had some messed up stuff, but I feel like we've gone away, at least temporarily, from the really messed up stuff in order to get like all kinds of like info and lore on this village and stuff like that. And I imagine we're gonna get into the background of what that village did. Like, they don't just drop like, hey, we did some bad shit when we founded the village, and we never find out what that is. Especially, it's not like that info is missing. We have the creators of the village right here. But yeah, so interesting. Rico learning the language was pretty cool. I kind of thought that was going to happen after they teased the idea of her picking up a couple of the words, But having her actually learn the language is awesome. I love that. I love that she, some people don't want to burden other people and they wouldn't ask that kind of question, but no, Rico just straight up just says like, hey, you speak both languages. Can you help me learn the other one? Awesome. And we went down into this pit. I wonder, do you think the lady that worked at the restaurant was like kind of knew what was down there and hoped that Rico would like free her because she like felt bad? She did say she wanted a real human child too. I don't know. Because like if she's, I guess she could be a cave raider that got turned later and doesn't know everything, right? It's possible. She doesn't. I keep thinking like, who is she from that founding party? But really, any cave raiders could have came down here, got turned into a hollow like way later, like hundreds of years later, and been fine, But interesting. I don't know. I'm just curious if she knew that Voiko was down there. But either way, Rico went down there. Apparently, it just took maybe I wonder if it took a human. Like, did they imprison her in whatever that was that she had around her? But the only way to break it was another human like touching it and saying like, what'd she say? You have to like grab it and think like come off or whatever. Like, I wonder if it had to be a human that did it, and that's why Voiko was trapped down there this whole time. But I think Voiko was saying, I might have missed the line a little bit, but I think Voiko was saying that she was put down there like as a prison because she didn't want to. She didn't agree with the founding of this village. Whatever they had to do, she didn't agree with it. And so I guess Balaf and Wazukyan are the ones that put her down here. I think, anyway. I could go back and look. There were a few other things I kind of wanted to go back and look at, although I'm not quite sure where they were in the story. But oh, I can probably get her name. Okay, I jumped a little bit past it. Here we go. Let's see. So her full name is Vuero Eruko. Let's write that down. Vuero Eruko. And then for short, they call her Voiko. Yeah, I must have... What happens is I use a stylus and I write down on my phone. I write notes as the episode goes, and then I convert it to text after the episode ends. And I think it doesn't always recognize what I write properly, especially when I'm writing down like Japanese names and stuff like that. It doesn't recognize it very well, so I had to what's it called? So my guess is I converted it, and then usually I go in and I manually edit stuff and get it right. But I must have messed up and forgot how her name was spelt and just assumed that it auto-corrected it right as Vueho rather than Ko. But I have that corrected now, so we are good there. Okay. That was one thing I did want to do. Yeah, so we briefly saw an image. That was like a crazy image of... It seems like that is... I think... See, they look kind of different, honestly. I almost wonder if this was like the birth of the Princess of the Hollows, Faputa, that we saw, like the brief image. But she almost looks different, right? Like... I don't know. Maybe I'm just... Maybe not. Maybe I'm just mistaking. Because when we first saw the Princess of the Hollows standing on the shoulder of that interference unit, I felt like she didn't look anything like it, and then she kind of like opened up a bit, and she did look a bit like this, but I don't know. We're just gonna have to learn more, but it seems like it. We saw her like bursting out of this... I don't even know what it is. But interesting. Even though there was nothing I could do about it, the creation of this village was the one thing I opposed. As a result, I got sealed away in this darkness. Yeah, okay. So, we don't have confirmation that it was Wazukyan and Balaf, but if those two are founders of this village, it's pretty reasonable to assume that they had a big hand in it. But interesting. So I guess whatever collar is around her neck was keeping her, I imagine keeping her from aging and keeping her from like withering away. Like, I doubt anyone comes and brings her food. So like whatever it is keeps her sustained, kind of thing. Huh. Interesting. I'm curious. So now that she's broken... Now that it's broken from around her neck, does that mean she's gonna age again? Or has it, like, permanently changed her to the point where she doesn't age, right? Either that, or it's one of those things where time moves differently down here than it does on the surface, and it's that whole thing that I kind of talked about. By the way, Actually, we'll get to that. But yeah, I talked about the idea when we learned it in season 1, where they were saying like, oh, they say time moves differently at the bottom of the abyss, so the 2 years on the surface could only be like a few weeks down there, or whatever they said for an analogy for that, but or an example, I should say. So could it be something like that, or did that goop that she had around her neck actually just cause her not to age and stuff like that? I don't know. Interesting. She also said, I noticed skipping back through, and I think I did read it the first time too, was that she said, I think I'm human, so she's not even sure if she's still considered human. She's still got her human physical form, but does that mean she is entirely human? Not sure. But they mentioned Voiko mentioned the luring. I don't know what that is, but that sounds ominous. It almost sounds like I had a theory as to this village and how it grows and keeps prospering and stuff like that, and I was like, do they somehow like attract cave raiders here and then turn them into hollows so that way they have nowhere else to go and then they stay here, and that's how they keep like the village going, kind of thing? I don't know. I don't know what else the luring could be. I mean, it could be many things, but that was just like the first thing that came to my mind. But interesting. And yeah, so she's got to try to hide as she goes around from Balaf and Wasukyan. Props to Ma though for like, I'm still angry about what Ma did earlier in when it comes to Mania, but I definitely give props to Ma for coming all the way down here with Rico, since Rico asked, and I liked what Voiko said about the idea that sometimes your longing can like push your body to do things that you wouldn't normally be able to handle, so it's putting up with this excruciating pain that it's feeling by being down here, just purely out of its like longing to be with Rico, I suppose. So it's very interesting. But then we get into all the Balaf stuff, which is crazy and I don't fully understand it. But he's basically, he wasn't able to buy Miti from the Sovereign of Dawn. I don't know why I'm spacing on his name right now, but yeah, he wouldn't sell. So somehow Balaf was able to use a large portion of his like segments of his body, internal organs, like all kinds of crap, and was somehow able to replicate Miti, even her soul, which is crazy. And obviously it makes sense that when Nanachi sees Miti being here and, being eaten over and over, like eaten and regenerated over and over and over again, obviously Nanachi wants to do whatever she can to stop Miti from suffering that pain, even if it means sacrificing herself. So she sold herself to Balaf, and then they put her to sleep. So, but now Miti, if technically if Nanachi's stuck here, then that means Miti is stuck here too. But does that mean because Nanachi owns Miti, does that mean that Balaf can no longer feed on Miti? Because there's like that middleman kind of thing? Because like, Balaf owns Nanachi, and Nanachi owns Miti, but maybe that doesn't mean that Balaf owns Miti, One may be able to... Because I don't know how it works. If you're a belonging to someone else, are you able to have your own belongings kind of thing? I imagine so. Or else this deal wouldn't be very fair. But yeah, so they put her to sleep. I wonder if she was like causing a fuss, so they put her to sleep or what, but I also wonder, like, does this mean, like, one thing I'm a little confused on is why does Balaf need to absorb Meaty? Why does he have to have this source of absorption? Like, does when they're hollows, do they still age and die? And he's feeding on Meaty's immortality so that way he lives forever? If that's the case, does that mean Wazukyan is doing something similar because he's still around, kind of thing, you know? And if that is the case, if not all hollows are immortal, it seems like a special trait to Meaty specifically, which was kind of somewhat revealed. Like, obviously we knew that Meaty had this special trait, but I wasn't sure if it meant that everyone, when we learned about Meaty's special trait, I wasn't sure if that meant that all the other, like, little goop hollow things also had that trait. But it seems that it's very specific to Meaty and very rare, and that's why Balaf wanted her so bad. But I don't know. I kind of want to go back and see some of these scenes again. Poor Meaty. I mean, and poor Nanachi is really what I meant to say, but poor Meaty as well. So the masked man brought her, yep. One of his many visits, Mitty was with him. I knew by scent. A real immortal. So this must have been before he destroyed the eye too, then? Because in the flashback little image they gave us, Meaty had both eyes. So that means the clone was created before the eye was taken. Interesting. With the signal of love as an intermediary, a strongly crystallized curse. Where's the rest of it? In some sense, an incarnation of the netherworld. I wanted her at any cost, but no matter what I offered, he would not give her to me. Yeah, so how did you get... I just want to see this part again. I paid compensation and had her born. And we're looking at... So is this the power of the goop stuff that was around? Because I actually wasn't even sure what I was looking at when it was showing, like, the body parts being torn up, but that's the goop that, at least I theorize that Voiko was controlling. Maybe Voiko wasn't controlling the balancing, maybe the balancing is something else entirely. But it looks like in a way, a sort of balancing that took place where all of my 724 limbs, 50% of my body length, a portion of my sensory organs. So, did he grow this stuff back? Or is he 50% shorter, I guess? Yeah, because it's body length, right? So it technically would be considered shorter. So is he 50% shorter than what he used to be, or did he, like, grow it back by absorbing Meaty? I'm not sure. But a portion of my sensory organs... Oh, wait. Hold on. That line, like... I permanently reduced them. So, all that is gone. Interesting. And use them as compensation. A perfect reproduction of Mitty at that moment, even the soul was copied. That's, like, crazy. So, one thing I'm confused of, did he, like... How did that work? You know? Like... I guess I'm really confused. Was the Sovereign of Dawn there at the time, and that black goop was able to, like touch Miti and sense like what she is composed of, soul and all, kind of thing, and then was able to take those parts and recreate? Or was it just like the pure thoughts of like Balaf and everything? Because that seems extremely powerful. Like, sure, he paid like an extremely heavy compensation fee, but if, like, my question is, did Miti have to be there for that operation to take place? Or did he just have to want it enough that it happened, you know? Because, like, let's say Liza's dead, right? Let's just say that. Could Rico want to see Liza again so badly that she pays some kind of compensation like this and can recreate Liza and her soul, you know? Like, where are the lines and everything, I wonder. It's fascinating. Obviously there's so much about this abyss that's in a way like magical, or maybe magical might be the wrong word, because magical often refers to things that are, you know, good, whereas a lot of the stuff isn't necessarily good, but maybe mystical is a better word, you know, where there's so much that I just don't understand. I can't say that it doesn't make sense, you know, but I'm just like, I'm the kind of person that like wants all those little details. Like, how do you just recreate a soul, you know? Does that mean that, I mean, Miti can't really talk other than making the noises that she makes, but if she could, does that mean that because her soul was copied, would this Miti have all the memories of what she, like, who she was before as a human and everything? Is this one somehow linked to the other one that was destroyed? Like, does this Miti know that the other one was destroyed? So like, it was a copy of the soul, so I imagine it's one of those things where in storytelling where like you clone someone, from that point on those two entities are then living a branching existence where they don't share the same memories and stuff like that. So like at one point, like right when they're cloned is where the divergence happens, you know? So the Miti we met wouldn't have any knowledge of this Miti, and this Miti wouldn't have any knowledge of that Miti, kind of thing, or at least any memories as to what was happening between the two, you know? So, I don't know. It's really fascinating to think about, but yeah. Interesting. I don't know how we're gonna go from here, because in order to get Nanachi back, Rico needs to either give up both her eyes, both her legs, or like half of her innards, or a portion of her innards. So yeah, and I imagine obviously without eyes or without legs, navigating the abyss is going to be extremely hard, but it's very possible she dies if she loses a portion of her innards, depending on how much is taken, and obviously what parts, and can you live without them, and do they have the technical skill to take those parts while still allowing her to survive and recover from it, kind of thing. So I don't know. This is why I was kind of leaning to the idea of, what if Rico like leaves but then gets Reg, comes back, and we just blast the shit out of Balaf with the Reg's beam and run, kind of thing, and just flee from the village. But I don't know. And that's why I said, like, maybe it gets dark is because they're bypassing how this whole village works, breaking the rules of the village, kind of thing. And they'd have to be careful of a balancing happening too, especially with something this valuable, because like something the level of a whole person, I imagine, would completely obliterate Rico if a balancing were to happen because she like stole it from Balaf. But will the balancing even happen now that Vueko has been freed? You know, if my theory about Vueko controlling the sorting or balancing, I keep calling it sorting. What is this sorting from? It's from something, isn't it? Oh, I think I'm thinking Hunter x Hunter. But yeah. Anyways, crazy episode, guys. I have even more questions, and I don't think I got any answers. But I mean, I guess technically we got some answers to some questions I was thinking about, of like, why is Voiko down in that goop in the opening, you know? And why did we see her down there? And we kind of know now is because she was opposed to whatever bad shit they did to create this village. But yeah, I'm fascinated to learn more. I cannot wait to watch more episodes. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Check out my Patreon if you want to see more from me. Link in the description below, or it should be popping up on the screen. As for Made in Abyss, there's nothing extra on my Patreon because I release these as they come out. But yeah, I have other shows on there, Patreon exclusives, early access, all kinds of stuff. Check it out if you're interested. Thank you guys, and I will see you in my future reactions. Bye-bye.